Live from Sussex in England by historian Katja. Katja, thank you for joining us today here on ANews. The elections in September will inevitably bring about a big change because Angela Merkel will no longer be going forward. How is this going to change the face of Germany, do you think?
Within the EU, I don't think we will see too much change because all the candidates that you've just listed are pro-EU candidates in their overall stance. So, and I think in terms of the way that Germany is going to act within the EU and bringing the EU forward, I don't think we will see too much change. So Armin Laschet has pretty unashamedly put himself forward as the continuity candidate who will basically perpetuate the course that Angela Merkel has set in place. The Greens arguably are even more pro-EU, although they have been arguing for a stronger international stance on moral issues. So basically taking countries or holding countries to account for their moral action more than Angela Merkel's course perhaps has been doing. And similarly, the SPD has also signed up to a pro-European course of continuation. So I don't think we will see too much change. I think the biggest difference is that none of the candidates have got the political gravity of an Angela Merkel. And so perhaps from that angle, it's questionable whether they can push through controversial policies in the way that she perhaps has been able to do as the political giant, really, that she's established herself as over the last 16 years.
So you started off with saying, particularly within the EU, we won't see too much change. Does that mean that in terms of, because that the powerhouse of Angela Merkel is going to be off the scene, that Germany's other foreign policy issues might change or weaken as a result?
Potentially, certainly when you look at the increasing tensions that Germany has faced with the US over Nord Stream 2, for example, that controversial pipeline from Germany to Russia, and the controversies that in turn has caused as regards Eastern Europe and the relationship that Germany has with Eastern Europe. On top of that, there's been sort of a worsening of relations there because of Germany's stance towards Hungary's homosexuality law that has just been introduced. And there's been certainly a sense from the Eastern European countries that there's a degree of perhaps arrogance or a sense of superiority, really, from the German government that I think somebody like Merkel is getting away with, whereas perhaps politicians that are newer to the scene might not be.
Might this, again coming a little bit more locally to Europe, the relationship between Merkel and Macron particularly has been contentious at times and friendly at others. How important is this going forward?
I sense that Macron is feeling a little bit of a power vacuum coming on, perhaps not quite as extreme as that, but I think he certainly is pushing towards, in a way, sort of superseding Merkel's role, then stepping into that void once Merkel has vacated that position of sort of the dominating figure in Europe, certainly on the continent. And I think Macron is lining himself up to be that figure and step in there. The problem that he has, of course, is that French elections are also coming up next year, and he's got to look inwards towards a French public that are perhaps even more skeptical towards certain European policies than the German public are. And from that angle, he's got to balance those two things out. But I think we will see at least an attempted shift towards power politics shifting westwards towards France.